welcome to Today at the Races and welcome to lovely Laurel Park. Keith, we are back. We're on a different set here today, and we are back here for the summer.
Yeah, I had to make sure I didn't take the wrong turn, off of 795. I needed to go this way. I didn't go towards Pimlico, but it was kind of dragging me that way. But no, we're back. We're back at Laurel Park, and ready for some action here at this summer meet. Kicking it off today, we've got some really nice weather. I know we're dealing with some air quality stuff. Missed a little training yesterday, but it looks like things are pretty good right now at the moment. Partly cloudy, 74 degrees, fast and firm for you this afternoon. And we've got some, I know we got the Belmont tomorrow, but we're going to concentrate on Laurel. We've got some tough races to get through. We've got a little different draw now, the 6 days out. Gives you a little extra time. The handicap, and,
I love it.
And maybe stash a little money and hold it until Friday racing. But hopefully everybody's fired up. Got the bank accounts and the first bets accounts ready to roll. And we're set.
And we have some new, of course, those fresh new pools coming at you with that Rainbow Pick 6 and that Jackpot Super High 5. Of course, as per usual, the early pick 4s and the early pick 5 that does start here. This first race is claiming 25, which have never won 2, going a mile here on the turf for the girls, 3 years old and up. Keith, you have the number 10 on top. Candy Arcade in my exacta. I love this pick for Justin Nixon. Gets the blinkers on with J. Ron Barbosa on as well.
Yeah. I tell you, a little, maybe a touch of a reach, but I thought her debut, we're going back at 2, was pretty good. Number works, credible field, white knuckle flyer. Candy Light is now a stakes winner. Hasn't seen the turf since. Sparingly raced, going to go in for the tag. She has some speed. The turf breeding is certainly there. 3-time route winner is the mare. Some really good turf in the family. I think from this outer post, she might be able to kind of get up and get a stalking position. I don't know if she kind of wants to get caught in a little battle with heartburn earlier, but we'll see. Barbosa going to the turn. Find a good spot. I think she'll be able to carry that speed a little bit better here on the turf this afternoon for Justin Nixon.
I agree. I think she's going to handle that distance particularly well. You also have the number 8, Mary Jane Chrome, in your mix for Mikey Drowse. Let's go ahead and take a look back at Laurel on the 1st of May of last year from the quarter pole on the turf.
Yeah, we're going back a little bit, right? And this one is fresh in this 5-year-old mare by California Chrome in the Lapidus barn. And it works out a little kind of wide trip here, circling 4 to 5 wide, makes a pretty good run into it against a field. It's a key race. Horses, I think it ended up being a triple key race this particular afternoon, but in a spin, just whoop, right there, right at the wire, gonna get up. So Mary Jane Chrome, I think there's the flow's going to be okay in here. I think this trip is going to be perfect for a very capable owner-trainer combination. Mike Drowse is very good work. This one settles in the mile distance. She'll be firing from the top of the stretch home.
Absolutely. Keith Fusel, 10-8-3-9 there in the start of the early pick 5. Now, of course, the start of the early pick 4 starts in race number 2 as per usual. Keith, you have us a ticket. Let's start off, Laurel, on a good note. You got a nice $32 ticket. No single today.
No, it's a little costly here. I just some of these races were a little inscrutable for me. 2, 3, 4, 7 to get you started in race number 2, and I could make a case for everybody in there, to be honest with you. Race 3, 3 and a 6, Certain and Covert Cat. Look like these two will have some targets up front to move into. Race 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Appendage, a big price of 15 to 1 on the morning line for Hammy Smith. Hammy Smith trying to get back on track. I think he's glad to be back at Laurel Park. Race 5 with the 3 and 6, Gunslinger and Chauffeur. There you go, $32.
And it starts off in this starter optional 12-5, 12-5, yes, excuse me. Mile and 16th on the turf for the 3-year-olds and up, scratching the number 6, Savoy. Keith, you have the number 3. As you mentioned, you could have hit the all button here, but you go with a 6-1 price of Ghost Lighter. Kieran McGee, Angel Cruz gets back in the saddle. Taking a look at this one back from that Pimlico effort at that starter optional level.
Yeah, Cruz coming back. It gives me a little bit of hope here. 12 days off, May 28th, caught wide and was up a little closer than I thought he really liked sprinting. I think moving back out to 2 turns is going to work for Ghost Lighter. I mean, maybe he's kind of all done. I mean, a regression off the number, but I think drawing towards the inside with Ace 9-9 kind of go, he'll be able to kind of just draft in, settle. If he doesn't run big today, I'm going to be concerned moving forward with Ghost Light. But I'll take a little shot. I think he holds a little value here for Kieran.
You also have Kieran McGee, just to add a little stat, from Pimlico to Laurel. So they're taking these starts from either from last year's Pimlico to Laurel, or the fall meet from Pimlico to Laurel. 4 for 14, 2 seconds, 4 thirds. So very, very ultra consistent. 10 for 14 in the money for Kieran McGee. And Ghost Lighter, the number 7, you also have in Shady Money for Rudy Sanchez. Solomon Axel Concepcion gets the call on this one again.
I think Shady Money just reached a little bit too much after that 70 buyer 3 races back. Did run a 71, but encountered much tougher fields in those state-bred, state-sired allowance races. One going the flat mile, the next one most recently going 2 turns over at Pimlico. Shortening up a little bit. The race 3 back was just dominant, was well in hand, prompting the pace. Took command and drew off convincingly. We'll have a target in Ace 9-9. We'll have to sustain a little bit better than recently, because Ace 9-9 carried it very well last time at a Pimlico on a track that the inside wasn't the greatest spot to be. Kind of a closer-friendly track that day. So take notice, if the 2 gets relaxed on the front, could go a long way in here.
We'll see how that speed starts off here at Laurel Park, as Keith Fusel goes 3-7-4-2 there in the start of the early pick 4. Race number 3 doesn't kick off anything, but it is a maiden claiming 45, going 5.5 on the turf for the 3, 4, and 5-year-old scratch in the number 1 delegated. You have the number 2. You have the number 3 on top. Excuse me. In certain for Ricky Hendricks. Axel Concepcion gets the call. Made that effort in Ricky's barn for the first time over at Pimlico on Black Eyed Susan Day.
Yeah, let's go ahead and show the video. I know we've got Surprise Hello, Covert Cat. Certainly, they all come out of that same race on the 19th, Black Eyed Susan Day at Pimlico. Can we show that, guys?
Yep, they're on
Surprise Hello, we can focus on that one first. That's fine. It's part of your picks, right? I had this one on and off. Showed really good gate speed. The blinkers came off last time. It gets a super fast horse in S. Muffin, who came back to win a first-level allowance race, I believe, with like an 89 buyer at Delaware Park recently. So that change of equipment, a little tinkering, and gave way grudgingly through the final 16th of a mile. Inside is Covert Cat, down inside in those orange silks with the yellow cap. Now shifting out wide here with the white blinkers late is Certain. Certain caught, maybe a little bit of a tricky spot around the 5/16s, Callie. Was caught in between horses. Jock had to just hesitate a little bit, Gaffleone. That cost him, and I like the way that horse finished up. Going second time here for Richard Hendricks. Give a slight edge. I thought he was going a little bit better than Covert Cat. Covert Cat, very consistent. Lots of seconds at this distance. Will sit the trip again from just off the pace.
And on top of that, you go from the 5 furlongs to the 5.5 here at Laurel. So that makes even things all the more attractive. As you mentioned, Covert Cat, Trevetta, Cruz. Again, this one came out of that same race, had a bit of an inside trip. Didn't have any traffic, but certainly a nice, as you mentioned, was on that inside post, as we saw on the front side.
Got a great run there. That's Muffin, just too good.
Right.
5.5 works perfectly. You see a race back on the page against Maya Prince. Horse run very well at Gulfstream Park. A couple other prices to talk about. We touched upon Surprise Hello. 7, Fun Notion, also out of that race. It really got away very slowly, but got out wide and in the clear late. Kicked on. Maybe the extra, the stretch helps here. I'm a little finicky. I want to see at the second wire, I want to see in range by about 1/8 of a mile. I don't like seeing 4 or 5 lengths back. It's fairly close. It's kind of like that grind that last little bit. You don't usually see that flourish run and up. So that's another one to look at a little bit of a price. Rider T as well. Took play, good family of turf sprinter, Rocky Policy, right, is in that family. The blinkers go on. This was a little green after pressing the pace in debut. Took plenty of play for a Tim Key firster. It was 7-1 in a big field. That usually doesn't happen. Maybe second time out, I think, with the blinkers. Will keep Surprise Hello in range, I think, early.
Bred for Rider T to get that nice trip, better trip second time out, as Keith Fusel goes 3-6-5-7 there in the third. Race number 4 kicks off the Rainbow Pick 6. Of course, we had a big pool last day, the day before the mandatory payout. But again, we start fresh and I give you a little bit of a structure. I go 3 deep in races 4, 5, and 6. Distant Fire, Moonset, and Love You Bye Bye in this race. Race number 5, 3-6-9, 3-5-9 in race number 6. I'm going to skip ahead to race number 7, where I felt felt in that restricted allowance going on the turf, sometimes these restricted allowances can come up pretty good. With the scratch in the 4, I opted to put the 7 in, so you can take away the 7 if you want. We'll touch into that a little bit more, but I go ahead and single in on the number 5, Keith Zabracadabra, in the 8th for cap, and then 2 deep in race number 9. Could have gone 3 deep with beyond the 1 and the 7, but my ticket was getting expensive enough as it was. So as you have your $32 ticket, I had a $54 ticket. I was wondering, am I going to get any grief from Keith today about my ticket? But clearly, it's the day. It's just the way the day shows up sometimes, and we have a good card, a competitive card here today to kick off the Laurel meet, and we're going to continue that in race number 4 in this maiden claiming 12.5, going 5.5 on the dirt, for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Scratch in the number 5, Danny's Whisker. Keith, you have the number 2 on top in appendage, Hammy Smith, Victor Carrasco. I have this one underneath. I definitely see the appeal of what you're about to give on this one.
Yeah, we got a couple horses in here, recent vet scratches. I don't really know what to make of it, but we've got Carrasco. Concepcion is going to opt somewhere else, but this one took a lot of plate late flash in debut. It was over a muddy sealed surface, big ass down towards the inside in a big field. It just came up short. Was there chasing, and had nothing from about mid-turn home. The turn back, I think, looking at the breeding and everything, the bottom side, well, this one's akin to swaying to and fro, who's obviously done her best work sprinting. So appendage, a little bit of questionable speed type, some horses that haven't been able to quite get it done after battling on the lead. Maybe the turn back, this horse will have some targets and run into it at a big price.
That's exactly what I saw. You also have the number 4, Love You Bye-Bye, for Tom McMahon. Angel Cruz gets the call with this one. Just missed out. Decent rally, decent game effort last time out, going the proper distance at the proper level.
Yeah, right level. I think you're right there at 12.5. It works. Was caught battling down inside. Shook clear. Looked like a stone-cold winner, 8th pole. Just to get run down very late. Ran too good to lose. Had a couple races on his page race. Ran really well. Unfortunately, DQ'd on the go back. But, I'm not so sure that he needs to lead, Callie. I think this horse can kind of prompt if he needs at 5.5, based on the post position as well, to kind of sit and let kind of Cruz just see how things are going on up in front of him. Because I think you've got a fresh horse in the 1, Silver Patron outside, who showed good speed and debut going back at Timonium with the Lasix coming on. This one could be fresh and ready to go. And on the drop again, Moonset, again, off of a good race, another drop. That concerns me. I'm going to kind of hedge against that one, and he'll probably come back to bite me. But there you go, 2, 4, 3, 1 in race 4.
And there we have it. We will go on to race number 5 in the starter optional 12.5, going 1 mile and 16th on the turf for the 3-year-olds. And up, Keith, you and I land on the number 3, Gunslinger, a winner last time out for Mark Beecher with Victor. Not a winner last time out at Delaware, but a winner first time in asking at Pimlico, returning in 2023. Victor Carrasco gets the call on this one. This is I don't know if Robin could make it, but this is a matchup I do like. I think Victor's deadly on the front end.
Yeah, and we've seen this one kind of bounce back off of poor efforts when he's taken that heat and backed up on the turf to rebound. The comfortable flow is the key to the success of the 3, Gunslinger. Now, we've got another horse in here that showed a little bit of speed, Officer Country, last time fresh. That one might be the thorn in the side, but Gunslinger, I'm going to count on him being able to clear early, relax, and set fractions that work for him, and I think he can carry it a long way here with Carrasco to nurse up top. Shofar's a horse that looks like he needs to get back on the turf. It's been his best surface. He's had a couple dud tries. The numbers are just kind of lackluster there on the main track, but a little freshening back to his best surface. A horse that's beaten my top selection before on the turf. Should sit mid-pack, 4 or 5 out of it, make a steady run into it.
I also like how you have pretty good year underneath Kelly Rubley, Carlos Lopez. I like how Carlos possibly could inject a little bit of speed, and much needed speed in pretty good year.
Yeah, he hasn't shown a ton, but gave a little hope last time out of that same race with Gunslinger. He another one wants a little bit more flow, but Carlos to kind of carry this one home. I think this horse racing back into shape has got a shot. Another one at a good price, should be close to double digits when it's all said and done.
Very good. Keith Ustel, as mentioned, 3-6-2-10 there in the 5th, and we'll be right back to talk about the rest of Friday's card.
And they're off.
welcome back, and we're back at race number 6, and you know what that means. Of course, that is our jackpot. Super high of 5. Of course, that was a pool that went well over $1 million in that mandatory payout, so you can get things started again. We don't have any mandatory payouts coming in anytime soon, but again, it's a good. That pool can get pretty steep pretty quickly, so you might as well get involved in it early. And it does start in the starter optional claiming, going 1 mile and 1/8 on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up. Scratch in the number 2 Rusty's G550 and scratch in the number 8 Maximum Impact. Keith, you have the number 3 on top, and this is Clubman. Let's go ahead and take a look at Clubman back at Pimlico on the 12th, leading the 3 ace.
Man, I tell you, claimed there going back February 4th, Robbie Bales and company had a great run with Clubman. Off the turf of the Henry Clark, another big try, and then follows it up last time out, in for the tag, and works out a trip. And X-Man has gotten along with his horse perfectly, kind of rated 3 wide, just rolls on up. Just doesn't even really get asked here until about the 3/16 pole. Opens up 3, spurts away, and it's going to hold sway over his old buddy, Bobby G. They're going to meet up again. Bobby G going for new connections today for Michael Gorham, but just needs to maintain form. I like the draw, the 1 mile and 1/8. I think it's well within his scope. He can get it done. Saving ground off of a flow that's going to be okay, I think, is Burke's going to kind of try to go out and dictate. Burke's the favorite. I think is going to be close to favorite in here, and the Clubman's going to be taking a lot of play as well. But Burks rode the best part of the race. I mean, I took advantage of a speed day. A big number popped it. Took a little pressure, but was in hand and just kicked away. I don't know if things are going to be that easy again today. Ness trying to kind of bounce back here in Maryland with the dirt runners over the last 30, 60 days. A little bit light, not to his liking, I know, and his backers' liking, because they're going to try to get back on track here with Rodriguez. But I think Clubman works out another good trip here with Concepcion. The 5, Golden Gully. A little stat here on our man Gary Capuano. Look at this. Last 3 years, 5 for 12, 42%, 9 for 12 in the money with these dirt routes off third off of a 61 to 180-day layoff. Look at ROI, Callie. 502.
Exactly.
That is just gaudy. Just maybe a little bounce factor, after that race. Scored on the muddy sealed surface here at Laurel April 1st off the break. Delaware, not so good as the favorite. Coming back to Laurel track. Then he's got 3 wins out of his 12 starts. I think he works a good stalking trip in here, because I don't think he wants to go early with Burks or even working on a drink.
Nope, and that's exactly how I see it, which is why I have him on top. So, Keith, you go 3, 5, 9, 4 there. You also include Walkaway Joe, Phil Capuano, Georgie Rui, hoping a little bit of a resurgence, third off the layoff.
Again, he's been, maybe not quite the same Walkaway Joe. They still kind of keep him around, protect him a little bit. He's going to need things to get going up front.
Right.
But he tries. He's a grinder. He tries.
Exactly.
Yep.
You have to include him underneath. There we have it. Race number 7 is a restricted allowance, going 5.5 on the turf for the 3-year-olds and up. You and I both have the number 2, Bossman JJ. Let's go ahead and take a look at Bossman JJ back on the 11th from the start and showing that final furlong.
Yeah, this was critical. This was really tough. After about the first, 70 yards or so, Bossman JJ bounced around a little bit and then shuffled back. It was over then. But you know what? He showed a little bit of heart. They went okay fractions, 22 and 246 in 1. He's able to kind of work out a trip. He's kind of rating behind rivals now. He's going to work out about 4 wide top of the stretch. Makes a slight move, switches over to that correct lead, leaving mid-stretch, trying, but just had too much to overcome. You can't give that up that soon, Cal.
Well, and on top of that, it's one of the rare occurrences where he kind of gets stuck into that situation. So sometimes with some of these horses who are normally on the front end, it takes them a couple times. You have to do it on purpose to try and get them to come up from off of the pace. So I think I agree with you. I think he did it as well as he could do given the circumstances provided.
And I think you're going to see today with a clean break, attack mode for Bossman JJ. You got a couple horses coming off of breaks. Maybe he hasn't quite faced as good a company as a few of these other horses dropping out of 2 other vans, but he's the established speed eater. I think he's a proven speed with a clean break, and he'll fight you. He was still giving effort there in between horses late to the wire at Pimlico. I think 5.5 is just fine for him. Be determined. Our man Don Metzger, Mint Meadow Farms, teaming up with Suzanne Statenius. This one, we've seen it before.
Yep.
He's been able to kind of turn it back. He comes out of a killer race over there at Pimlico. The leader just got out to the front and dictated. Good run late, wide. I think turning back is going to work. He'll like to see a little bit of a contested pace. If he gets it, watch him rolling late that final eighth of a mile.
Exactly. There we go. You also have the number 11 for fun underneath. Just a quick chat about By the Say Shore.
Yeah.
Mike Trombetta, Caramano, first off of the layoff. Excuse me. And taking at this one, this was a winner first off of the layoff in 2022.
Yeah. That's the key. Able to run fresh. The numbers stack up very, very steady. And I like the trip this one's going to get. If Kobe Tough doesn't show the speed, he's kind of a guess, right, coming off the break, because he certainly ran good numbers against better, and horses have come back to run big races. It's the layoff that concerns me about Kobe Tough. I think By the Seashore might set up shop outside of Boss Man JJ, but I'm going to touch again on two prices in here.
Yep.
I'll talk about Ragtime Riches, the 10.
Okay.
This is the one when you're looking at the breeding. For Tony Ferry, you're looking at the numbers real quick. This one's going to slip away at a price. Okay, favorite up to Charlestown. Point of entry, the Stallion, 15% with turf sprinters. Out of a family that's nothing but turf. They run well, short and long on the grass. Sneaky. The last couple times, Tony Ferry has gone first turf with his runners. 2 seconds. One at 13-1 and one at 18-1. I wouldn't leave this one out of your exactas and tries. Little sneaky play there. And Odinson, we'll show the video of this one's just
May 4th.
Yeah, getting up for the dead heat. Really, really good effort. I know the number doesn't quite stack up, but to be able to do this after that break, kind of walking out,
Agreed.
Take Charge 2's run some big races of late, turf and dirt. And this one, we're going to follow. It just makes a substantial run. I give the credit to the rider, too, was able to kind of get this one to relax, take the little bit rating a little bit. And when this one swings out, it looks like, okay, Take Charge 2 is nursing and gone. But we're going to watch this run. Look at the run. Has to wait, just very patient. I love the ride there.
Perfect.
Off a cover almost, right, Cal?
Perfect ride, honestly. Yep. Yes, because that's with this 5.5 distance. Where Charlie asked is exactly where you need to be asking. Yeah. With a couple of these horses, any sooner than that, you fall short, you fall flat. So this was, and you could see the acceleration on this one. You also have this one who is by editorial 2 for 4 as of lately, or just with his second time turf starters in general. So yeah, absolutely, well spotted, Keith.
Now that's some talent right there, and there's one of the times where it comes up and grabs him when I say, well, you want to be kind of close. He's at the flow, but I mean, he needed that extra ground, and he got it. Was able to get up for the tie. The number, like you say, doesn't quite stack up, but showing that ability gives me a little hope at a price, because I still think the horse is going to sneak away a little bit of a price to not dismiss underneath my exactas, tries, and supers.
There we have it. Competitive race in number 7. Race number 8 is an allowance going a mile here. Remember the one-turn mile here, second wire on the dirt at Laurel. 3 years old and up. Scratching the 1, Thomas Shelby. Scratching the 4, Hello Hot Rod. You and I both have Abracadabra. This is my single on my ticket, Gary Capuano. We've got a video, of course. Let's take a look. April 14th here, back at Laurel.
Yeah, and this one at the distance, the one-turn mile. Okay, two wins, 3 seconds out of 6 starts. I know this one is he's just rock solid. You can kind of count on him. He's got kind of a good cruising speed. This particular day, though, he kind of got hung out wide into a slower flow, fanned out top of the stretch, and that might have been just enough. Our nation on parade, game to the wire, is just going to be able to kind of get the better of him this last eighth of a mile. But really good horse race. Comes back second off that little bit of a break. You've got a scratch of Hello Hot Rod. One of the speeds maybe comes out. Thomas Shelby looked like he was going to get that stalking trip, but I think he'll just take aim on Back in the Woods. Back in the Woods is going to have to just go. It's going to be his best chance, but sitting there, I think, lurking. He's got that pounce move in him. Abracadabra holding form for Gary Cap. Going to be a shorter price, one of the better bets, I think, today.
And then you saw in that video just now before they crossed the wire was Vance Scholars coming in and making a late charge at that. So you have that one in your exacta. I love that for an exacta pick.
I just chase this horse every time.
Sure.
I'm a sucker for Vance Scholars. We've seen some of the trips he's been able to overcome. It's hard not to. But it's like sooner or later, can we get him a trip where he can just sit and run? I mean, he runs in spots, it seems.
Yep.
So if he puts it all together, he can be awfully dangerous. I think he kind of wishes some of that speed stayed in, but he's shown the ability to kind of make a move into it. Same thing with American Dioro for Ricky Silliman. And Laurel Glasser. Yeah, that one too. Kind of in and out. Might be a little bit better with some moisture in the racetrack, but take nothing away from him. He can ramp it up, make some runs. He did last time, a good move against the killer, our local killer in Nimitz class. So, yeah, we'll see. Good horse. Abracadabra, I think the one to beat. Yep.
Absolutely.
Clearly.
I agree. Race number 9, our last race of the day here for Friday, and the opener at Laurel Park for the summer is a maiden claiming 45, going 5.5 on the turf for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. Scratching the number 3, Paul P. Scratching the number 9, Lawful. You and I still land on tall order. Phil Capuano, Carlos Lopez, returning back to the turf, I think is the right move for this one.
Yeah, reported first time gelding, and what I picked up on as a 2-year-old back there September at Pimlico, good move against some horses that are all right, but did not have Lasix. The Lasix is on again for the turf effort. With a scratch of the outside horse Lawful, was going to be an awfully short price, I thought, for David Jacobson. Tall order, I think just if he breaks cleanly, he's on or just off the pace to get it done in here.
Absolutely. A nice couple of works leading into that, including that work coming out from the gate in 48 flat. On the 26th of May, you have the number 5 underneath. And Will's Music, Ferris Allen, Yomar Ortiz. I really like that effort in that first time out, going the specific distance of the 5.5 here.
Yeah, we showed you the race with Odinson. But this one, took the rating, an encouraging debut, finished up quite well, closing up some ground. They went, okay early, but I like the way this horse finished up. Firster, you've got in the mix. Battle of Bascone. I mean, what are your thoughts here? You see Vielsom, you're thinking
half
turf.
Half the post time.
You got half the post time. It was undefeated on the dirt, but there is some turf there. Certainly in the family. Mother was really good.
Yes.
7 for 38. Dickie Small, Dylan Smith, another trainer after that. But, I think this one, catching the right kind of field. Very patient. Late to the races here. Later started 4. But Battle
Doesn't scare me.
Yeah,
that doesn't scare me. I like that. So Keith Fusto goes 7-5-1-6, and I go 7-1-2-5 there in race number 9. Let's head on over to Lightning Round to just kind of do a little bit of recap on your best bet and your value play.
Yeah.
Keith, let's go ahead and take a look at your best bet of the day. Excuse me, your value play.
Okay.
Excuse me, race number 7. It's earlier, but Bossman JJ back on the turf.
Yeah.
Hopefully a better trip.
Showed you the video, the early adversity, the shuffle, then tried to come back 4 wide. Made a good run and kept trying in between horses. Catches some horses, some deeper closers, some horses coming off time. Yeah, they might have faced better, but clean break. He's on the engine, the one to catch, I think, when they turn for home.
And, of course, your best bet of the day, my single on my ticket, Abracadabra for Gary Capuano, coming off of that nice little sweet layoff.
Yeah, caught wide last time, fanned out top of the stretch, dead game to the wire, just not quite good enough. You've got one speed target back in the woods. I think he'll just set up right off of him, a couple lengths. I mean, back in the woods may open up 3 or 4 early, but he'll make that move up to him, and I think he'll get the jump on the closers.
And, of course, wanted to bring up the yearling show that's coming up, and we have a nice judge who's going to be inspecting those yearlings. Ned Allard is going to be coming in. Allard, of course, got his start in the business in New England in the late 1950s, relocated to his stable to the Mid-Atlantic in 89. He's won 2,773 races with purse earnings of $41.5 million and up. He was honored to be asked to judge this show, but of course the show has competed with some Eclipse Award winning with Safely Kept, Smart Angle, Declan's Moon, Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf winner Sharing, Catherine Sophia, 8 Too Fast to Catch, Cherokee's Boy. Just so we'll see. It'll be exciting to see those yearlings out on parade over at Timonium.
All right.
And we are going to leave that further with Dave Rodman for some more potential changes and scratches here. And welcome back to the Laurel Lawn.
All right, good luck.